When you're hiring a sales executive, it's incredibly important to define with absolute clarity what those roles and responsibilities are, because when there's any kind of ambiguity in what the role is, or if you're trying to get a sales executive to do something either outside of what their role really should be, or you're maybe not allowing them to do some things that they would be great at, you're gonna cause confusion, you're gonna cause maybe a little bit of frustration, and if you have confusion and frustration combined, you're gonna have failure. I mean, confusion and or frustration is gonna cause failure. If you have both, you're gonna cause failure. So it's really, really important to know what those standard roles are for that sales executive to be really, really successful in your company. So today I actually wanna walk you through the 5 roles and responsibilities that every sales executive should have, and you can kind of tweak these a little bit for your specific situation, but these will be the core foundation of that. And obviously, before I jump in, make sure to subscribe and click the bell, especially if you got value from this. If you don't get value from this video, don't subscribe, don't like, don't comment. But if you do, make sure to do all of those things and stay to the end, because I'm gonna also give you a bonus training that I think you're gonna like a lot. So having worked with, small sales teams, large sales teams of like 300 people, 50 people, you start to realize the responsibilities of their actual roles make so much of a difference about how people succeed, and how you could have a great sales executive with the slightly wrong roles and responsibilities, and they actually don't get good results, and you think it was just a bad hire, but really it was just positioned wrong, and you had the wrong systems in place. So really, those 5 core responsibilities of a sales executive are gonna be critical. Now, you can tweak these a little bit, but see these as pillars in your sales operation, and make sure that their roles don't have overlap with other roles. Like if you have SDRs booking the appointments, or if you have like more people in your sales organization because you have a longer sales process, or if you're outsourcing like your appointment setting, say to like an appointment setting company or something like that, make sure that you don't have too much overlap. You want these, I always say, like, you want to figure out what people's superpowers are, and allow everybody's role to primarily focus on what their superpowers are or should be, and then hire for those superpowers, right? So the sales executive is responsible for bringing in new business, maximizing business with current clients, keeping those relationships strong, and other things. So the 5 responsibilities are this. Number 1, prospecting for new business opportunities. Now, this is where there can be a little bit of flexibility here. For instance, clients hire my agency to get them, hundreds and sometimes thousands of meetings for their sales team. So in that case, they're not going out and prospecting, but there might be some roles where you're doing both that. Your marketing company is bringing in some appointments. You're outsourcing to a company like Pima to get appointments. And then that sales executive is also prospecting maybe high value deals. So you have to be very clear on that role, who's doing it, when they're doing it. Hey, if the week's light on meetings, if they don't have much lined up, are they prospecting? If they are doing a little bit of both, how much are they doing? So have very, very clear definitions in what they're gonna be doing around prospecting. Number 2 is generating more revenue from clients, and this is where the biggest opportunity in every company that we come into and we talk about their sales. Most small companies are so focused on that first sale, and how can we get the cheapest lead and the highest conversions and the perfect numbers so we make money on that first sale. And the reality is, great companies, like billion-dollar companies, they're not concerned about how much money they make on the first sell. They're concerned about what's called lifetime value, how much a client is gonna spend with you over the lifetime. Because if you can maximize that, if you can sell more to your current clients, they've already bought from you, it's a very easy sell to make if you did a good job, you can increase your lifetime value, which means you can afford to spend more money or even lose money to get a customer at first, because you know you're gonna keep selling them. So the sales executive, you definitely wanna make sure that they are very focused on upselling current clients, getting referrals from current clients, staying in touch with current clients. They're not delivering the product, they're not managing the client, but they might be managing part of that relationship to make sure that they're buying more and more and more as your company delivers excellent service. And just kind of a little, just like me to you question is, how much effort are you putting into creating new products for your current clients? How much effort are you putting into selling your current clients more products. Because if you don't always have a what's next, after they buy this and they get great value from it, what's the next thing? If you don't always have a what's next, if you're not always building a what's next, your customers are only gonna spend this much money with you. But if you go, oh, they spent this, what can we create next to give them more value and give them more value? You always wanna be thinking what's next so that the potential that a client can spend with you is massive at each stage in their journey versus this is what most companies do. You wanna keep expanding that, right? So that their potential to spend money with you gets greater, and that's what a great sales executive is gonna do for you. Okay, number 3 is you want that great sales executive to be a part of developing the actual sales strategy. Now, just because you wrote a script one time and you worked on the closes one time doesn't mean you're done. This needs to constantly evolve, constantly improve, constantly get better. You wanna make whatever your benchmarks are, if this is the best you've ever done, let's shoot for something greater. Then we said this is the standard. Once that standard's set, you raise the bar again. Once you raise the bar again with a highly exceptional level, you just keep doing that over and over again. So a great sales executive is not going to be satisfied by keeping the bar the same place. We want to constantly raise the level of excellence to a level of exceptional, because the money is in that very small percentage of difference that separates excellent from exceptional, and that could be a 3% difference. But if your person's constantly looking for that 1, that 2, that 3% difference, it's going to make a big difference over time, because that becomes exponential in the way that you're separating yourselves from the competitors, you're separating yourselves from the rest of the people in your market. Number 4 is that the sales executive should be conducting market research. Not that they're spending all their time out there, but you want to make sure that they're spending enough time to understand what the landscape, understand what the other offers, understand the other products, what are your potential buyers, what are they looking at with your competitors, what are your competitors offering, what do they like, what do they don't like, so that you understand the entire landscape of the market, so that the sales executive is not just isolated to their little world. Now, you have to be careful not to overdo this. Like, you should be focusing on the client. Like, what does the client need? What is the client hungry for? How can I over deliver for my client? But you might find that there's some ideas out there that your competitors are using that you can use. And there might be some things that you're seeing maybe negative complaints about your competitors, that you might want to do some introspection on your company and make sure that you're not doing that. So obviously it's going to help them sell better, but it's also going to help you position yourself better in the market altogether. Number 5, now this is one of those kind of like overlapping areas, is that they need to be able to be a part of complaints. Like if a customer that they sold, or any customer has a complaint, they should be involved in that conversation. Why is that important? Because complaints happen when expectations and actual delivery are different. Like the person was expecting these things and they got these things. That's generally when you have customers upset. And it might not even be real. Like it might be that what they were promised and what they got is what they got, but their perception of what they were promised and their perception of what they got was different. So when you're trying to build a successful company, you need to have lots of new customers coming in, but you also need to keep those customers, selling them new stuff, selling them more stuff. And to understand where that kind of disconnect in perception or product or what they were promised versus what they were delivered, if you can make that smooth, so what, as my mentor always says, over-promise and over-deliver. Don't under-promise and over-deliver, over-promise and then over-deliver. But you still want to make sure you know what they're being promised, what they're being delivered, where those discrepancies are, so that you can have clear communication from the client's perspective, because they just have one experience. That experience is with your company. They're not isolating the experiences. Well, this person and this, but they're just saying, hey, you told me this, you told me X and I got Y. And so we need to see the entire sales process as also being the long-term game, the LTV with the client. So that's the roles, the responsibilities that a sales executive should have. Now, if you need help getting more appointments so that your sales team, your sales reps, your sales executives can focus on closing, I do have that bonus training for you. It's a free guide. It's gonna give you the step-by-step on how to do 2 things: fill up their calendars, and number 2, warm up those meetings on autopilot through automation. So click that link, but before I give you that free guide, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you got value from it. only do that if you got value from this. If you didn't get any value from this video, you don't owe me a thing. But the only thing I ask is if you did get value that you do the like, you comment, you subscribe, help us show up more, enter the conversation. If you have a question, ask me, I will respond. And like I said, that link is now below this video. You can click it, get that free guide. I don't make a penny from that guide. I don't make any money. I don't charge any money for it. I want to help you do two things. I want to help you sell more and I want to help you scale more. So get that guide and I'll see you soon.